Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Single Mode Strategy. This is episode 37, and this is an interview episode. I have Frederick Wallen from Naval Warfare Simulations, and we're here to talk about his newest game, which is Rule the Waves 2. And I have two co-hosts, a returning guest, which is Eric Tortuga, and I have Matt the Historical Gamer with me. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here as always.
It's good to be here.
Yep, thanks for having me back. I'm a little surprised, but well, if you guys want to do that damage yourself, that's fine.
I tried to fire you, but John wouldn't let me.
Didn't work, huh?
It's such a place in my heart.
I pay him a lot of money to keep me on.
Hey, I didn't put them in my taxes, so you can't say that publicly.
Yeah, of course not. I didn't mean that at all.
All right, so let's just jump right into the interview because we have a multitude of questions, and I'm very eager to pick Frederick's brain on a lot of the things that going on with Rule the Waves. And we're going to kind of just jump around. So I'm going to ask a couple questions. Eric Tortuga is going to ask a couple questions, and then Matt's going to jump in every so often to ask a couple questions. So you're going to be hearing from all of us during this interview. I guess I will get us started. First, I wanted to ask you, before we even dive into Rule the Waves 2, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, when you grew up, what were your favorite strategy games that most influenced you?
One of my first war games was Avalon Hills Jutland, actually, and that was a great game for its time. I played it to death, and I modified it. I made my own ships. So I played that a lot, and of course that was an inspiration for Rule the Waves. That was many years ago. Then of course I played other games in the same naval war games like Flat Top. So those are board games. I was also inspired, of course, by some computer games. Fighting Steel, for example, is one.
Yeah, Jutland was a great game. Have you guys played Jutland growing up, Matt?
No, I never did. I did not.
I really don't have any, until computer gaming, until I started playing like Rule the Waves, Great Naval Battles of the North Atlantic, and a few others. I didn't really have any sort of board gaming history with naval war games. But I did do some forum-based. It was kind of interesting. I noticed a common trend there, Frederick. I'm going to go a little off script. That you were, obviously you mentioned a bunch of naval games. Was that sort of your primary interest in gaming when you were first gaming? And was there sort of an impetus for that? Or was it just sort of, a subset of the games you played?
It's more of a subset. I always loved games. I started to modify board games when I was a kid. Not war games, but regular board games. I remember doing my own maps and modifications to various board games. So I've always loved games, and I was always interested in military history. So I've played a lot of different war games of all kinds.
One quick question, just curious. How did you end up connecting with the folks at NWS?
That's a good question, yeah.
It was a long time ago when I did this add-on for Fighting Steel. I did a campaign add-on that connected the battles in Fighting Steel. So that's something I just did for fun. And then I started speaking to Chris and William at Naval Warfare Simulations, and they wanted to publish this. And yeah, it all went from that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Now, did Jutland kind of inspire you to develop the Rule the Waves series that you started?
Not only Jutland, of course. There was a lot of inspiration. Another inspiration was Master of Orion. Actually, I played that a lot. And the space game, the 4X game, where you can design your own spaceships. That was an inspiration. I started to think that it should be possible to do this for real ships on Earth.
Oh, I was going to say, have you ever heard of, there's basically a game which Rule the Waves is often compared to, the only thing which has such depth in ship design, and it's a game called Aurora 4X. Have you heard of that, or have you played that?
I know about it, and I've heard of it, but I haven't played it myself. It's a sad thing when you're a game designer, you don't have so much time as you'd want to play other games.
Yeah, I bet.
Frederick, so you mentioned that you were modifying board games and other things like that. So clearly you've always sort of had a creative streak. But what was your first computer game that you kind of put together on your own? What inspired it?